Hello, everybody, and welcome to another story time. So, mentioned in the last story of my bullying history that I was bullied by my teachers as well. And I figured I would go over the story of the teachers this time. Yes, my history of bullying, but with my teachers. So you may say, well, teachers couldn't be that bad, right? Oh, you. You're so silly if you think that. No, actually, my teachers committed child abuse. Yeah. So, my school that I went to that really had this problem was called Children's Guild. Now, this school does not exist anymore. They have been shut down and all, but only because of lack of funding, not because what they were doing to students. And I wasn't the only one. Now, there was a lot they did. For example, they would be able to put you in restraints. It was a school where they could actually restrain students, so they had a ability to put your hands on them. What they didn't have, though, was the ability to tackle you over desk and then slam your head straight into the ground. Basically football tackle you into the ground. They didn't have the right to do that. If you were put in a restraint and say that you're on a mat, let's say you're on a mat when they're doing it, because sometimes they put you on a mat, sometimes you're just on carpet. Either way, wherever you are, don't you dare think about turning your head at all. Don't. Because what they did was they picked you up by your hair, literally grabbed you by your hair. It's also why I like my hair short, because of this. And then they slam your head as hard as they can into the ground, and then they start pushing on your head so you can't move it. Another person comes over, takes their elbow, and jams it into the back of your neck, right on that, I don't know the name of the bone, but it's right where the pressure point is on the bone, and digs their elbow in. While some other guy decides to do it to your lower back for some dumb reason. I never understood the lower back part, which now I know a lot of problems with my back probably didn't help because of them. So yeah. But they would do stuff like this. Now, this is not legal what they were doing. All this isn't legal, but don't worry. Let's say that you don't move your head and you're relaxing, you're not as angry. Get ready, because you're going to get a wet willy. And possibly a wet willy but in your butt crack. You ever have a grown adult stick their finger in your butt crack after putting it in their mouth? When you're in elementary? Yeah. Like I said, child abuse and a lot of other things they were doing. Now, I have a thing where I don't like pencils. It's a whole thing with me where when I was in school, they didn't let me use pencils, so I got used to using pens, so I just don't like the feel of a pencil. So, I got these pens that I could wrap around my neck with they got like the necklace pens. I don't know what they're called, but I used to get those. Well, the staff would turn around and take that cord for it and start twisting it and twisting it and twisting it until it cuts off your circulation and you can't breathe. Now, you may say, well, that means they were strangling you. Yes. And what is their suggestion for it? Lift you up and try to take it off if, you're starting to turn purple and black and all that, because literally my face was turning colors. No, their option is take a pair of sharp scissors or a knife. They've actually took a pocket knife, one of them had, and stick it right against the skin of your neck and cut the string. Yeah, have you ever had a knife against your throat by your teachers? I have. It is not fun. It is not nice. It is actually quite disturbing, to be honest. to think that a grown adult thought that was appropriate to do. But you may say, okay, this does not sound right. What about investigating? Call the cops, get them investigated. Sorry, we can't do it. It's a privately run school. Yeah, so it's a private school, but it was for people with disabilities and stuff like that, behavioral issues in particular. So because of that, they got away with a lot of stuff that you couldn't get away if you're a public school. And it's actually a misconception that private schools cost a lot of money, because if you're going to a school for disabilities, they are private schools, but you can get in them for free, just like a public school. You just have to have disabilities. That's really it. And I never understood why people said you gotta pay to go to a school all the time, because yeah, there are private schools that are free. It's for disabilities, so you're not going to get a lot of stuff, but also it's not very good. But you may say, okay, well that's just bad. I mean, that's bad all around. I mean, at least they were not emotionally abusing you. Oh yeah, you mean like telling you how you're worthless, never amount to anything, and you're going to be a complete failure? And you should kill yourself? Yeah, that's what one of my teachers told me. In fact, this same teacher got reported twice. One by the one-on-one that I liked, and right after she reported him, just one day I got a note from her saying she was moving out of nowhere. And the thing is, it wasn't her handwriting. I know that for a fact. I'm thinking she got fired because she reported him. Because my mother also reported this teacher as well for kicking me. Did it in front of my mother. Pushed me down to the ground and kicked me. And they didn't punish him, suspend him, or anything for kicking a student. Yeah, you can pretty much tell that is not a good school. And they were not treating people with respect or anything, really. Now, you may say, okay, so they are mostly emotionally, physically, and mentally abusing you. How did you not die? I mean, that is actually a good question. So, they did more, though. For example, I had a hoodie. It was my favorite hoodie I had growing up. I remember it was a $50 hoodie. It was my first ever hoodie. And it was from a really popular brand at the time. I never really got brand clothes either, because I just didn't really care for them. So, this was something that I did want and I liked. Well, one day I was wearing this hoodie and they decided, hey, let's, me as a staff and you as one of the students here, let's both play tug of war with this person's hoodie while they're wearing it, and then rip it down their chest. And then as a grown adult, let me say, well, you're misbehaving with this, so I have to confiscate it, and then strip clothes off of a child. Now, I had nothing on underneath this hoodie. Now, if I was a female, I'm pretty sure they would have got in a lot of trouble for doing this. Because that would be wrong there especially. But they didn't do it for me. Because, well, I guess there's a bias of men not having their shirts taken off. I don't know. I would think if it's either a man or a woman, some grown adult takes your clothes off, that should be investigated. But whatever. I don't know. Now, you may say, okay, well, did they at least take care of any of the bullies you had? Oh, you mean like the one kid who brought in a dead bird into school, in front of the teacher said he was going to take his gun, bring it to school, and do exactly what he did to this bird to you? And then their response is, oh, he would never do that. You're just overreacting. By the way, this happened around 2001, September. Nothing happened that month, September 2001. But, the fact that we were being scanned from schools, we couldn't bring in a backpack that wasn't see-through, and your response is, oh, he would never do something like that. They were not very smart. He had made multiple threats in front of staff. And you may say, well, what did they do to him? Oh my God, throw that bird away. You don't play with dead animals. Now go wash your hands and don't do it again. Yeah, that's your response to someone who's bringing in a dead animal and then threatening to kill someone while honing a dead animal. Anybody know how to say psychopath? Because that's what I was seeing. And that's what he was. I mean, that kid was threatening to, well, be a school shooter. Really? Just to kill one person. And it's like, you're not even going to take that threat seriously? Oh, I hated that school so much for things like that. I really hated them for it. But you may say, well, I mean, it can't get worse, right? Oh, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. So, around this time, there was also stuff about, kids need to be healthier, stuff like that. So my school, with their internal wisdom, said, okay, well, we're going to make it so there are no more snack machines in school. All the students are like, wait, we had a snack machine? They're like, yeah, it was in the teacher's lounge where you're not allowed to be. So to make kids healthier, you took the snack machine out of the teacher's lounge that kids weren't even allowed in, let alone use. Wait, what do you mean you're also firing the gym teacher, but you're still going to have us participate in gym? Well, okay, so we're going to play soccer, not Americano. Football if you're in the UK or whatever. But we're going to play that. Okay. Well, all the kids yell at me because I'm the goalie using hands and nobody can get past me as the goalie. You can't use your hands as the goalie. Goalies aren't allowed to use hands at all. Teachers, what? Can you explain the rules of soccer to let them know that you can use hands? Sorry, we don't know how to play soccer. Then why are you having us play soccer? And the whole thing, this whole time, they were just idly chit-chatting while all these other students were harassing me, threatening me, telling me I was an idiot, giving me more death threats, all this stuff. And their whole response was, we don't know how to play it. Why do you have students playing a game you don't know how to play? This is what they were doing. If you're in a school and your teacher tells you, we don't know how to do something, why are you having them do this then if you don't know? I mean, really. But it didn't get this bad only. See, there was one teacher that he bullied people. He did it to a lot of people. See, I had a one-on-one, a staff that was specifically to help me because I was considered a problem child. Point is, this one-on-one I had worked with for a while, and I would go in this class. It was English class, and I would ask, how do you spell, or how do you pronounce this word? Not spell, pronounce. Whatever. Point is, how do you pronounce this word? And as soon as I ask for help from the person sitting directly next to me, not even 6 feet away from me, this is what I hear from my teacher. Ben, shut up, you're disrupting the class. Nobody's talking. We're doing paperwork at our desk. And I'm trying to get help, and you tell me to shut up. So I say, I was asking, I don't care. I don't care. Shut up or get out. And I say, okay. If I can't do my work, I'm going to leave. So I get up to go and leave, and then he grabs me into a bear hug. Now, this is not a legal restraint either, and turns around and lifts me off the ground. My butt against something very hard poking me. If you get what I was talking about. Yeah, apparently a lot of other students noticed this. Whenever he did this, we always noticed something hard poking us in our butts. And he did it with a lot of other students, which you can pretty much put 2 and 2 together to know what he was actually doing. It wasn't I was talking, it was he was trying to get something out of it. And you would say, so he did it to the girls? We didn't have girls in the school. Really, there was like 3 girls my entire time there, at most. And for most of the years, we didn't even have any females. It was very weird. I don't know why there was no girls in the school. And they also had a weird rule for girls and boys. Boys could go in the bathroom together with one another, but girls couldn't. Which was very confusing. Why girls couldn't, but guys could. I don't know. But they did not treat students with respect. This whole school didn't. And it was basically, there was a theory a lot of students had that they actually got bonuses for the more restraints we were put in. And one of the things that really irritated me was I get chronic ear infections. To this day, I get ear infections constantly. And we never knew why I get it. We still don't know why I get it. So I would go to the nurse to find out why my ear's hurting. And every time I go there, she says, well, your ears are full of earwax. I can't see anything. So I'm like, that can't be. If I clean my ears, nothing comes out. And a few times I went to my doctor because I had an appointment later that day because my ears were hurting. And I get to my doctor and he says, your ears are spotless, but they are red and a bit inflated. And I was like, wait a minute, I just had my teacher, my nurse, check my ears a minute ago. Oh, or, no, not a minute, but earlier that day. I haven't cleaned my ears since, and she said they were filthy. So I, one day, asked her if I could see that thing she checked the ears with, and asked her to move that little black top piece off of it. And it was yellow. That thing was coated in earwax. There was a huge layer of it right where the light goes of earwax. And I said, that is disgusting and not sanitized. She said, oh, that is normal. It's supposed to look that way. My response, nope, and right out of this school. And the thing is, this school was better than the one I would have went to if I didn't move. So what they were doing to me in this school was better than what they would have done to me in the high school if I would have not moved to a different state. Yes, the high school was worse. And that is something to say. And this was in the state of Maryland, mind you. And this is where I say, if you have a kid in any school, it doesn't matter if it's public or not, a kid in any school, do not underestimate what teachers will do to children. They will abuse them. And your kids may be being abused. Not always, but sometimes.